Greetings and salutations, the Internet. This is Sean Quadlin here from PPC Hero, and today we're going to take a look at using pivot tables to get better sense of trends in your ads. Instead of focusing on which ad is doing the best for each ad group, I think sometimes pivot tables can be a useful tool to give you a sense of which trends are working in your account. So what we want to do is start by just downloading a regular old ad report from the interface. In this case we're using Google, but you can also use MSN, Facebook, wherever you choose to have your PPC ads running. And then I also always include deleted ads just in case, because sometimes the system is a little finicky, and if you make any changes to even destination URLs, it just deletes the ad and creates a new one. So I always include all ads, including deleted, just in case. And then what we'll do from there is actually set up an auto filter, and anything that has 0 impressions you can just get rid of. I've already cleaned them up here, so just select 0 impressions and delete them out. But just in case you have any deleted ads that may have gotten impressions that somehow got deleted, I think it's good to include all of them. And so since we're trying to get a sense of trends, you can actually insert a new column next to what you want to learn about. So in this case, we're trying to get a better sense of, on display URLs, whether or not this trailing information works. So whether or not brand.com is more effective than brand.com/product. Very interesting client we have, brand.com, and their products are really interesting. They sell widgets and other generic things. So check them out if you get a chance. So what we're going to do is actually use another autofilter, and these things are amazing. This could be the tip of the day. If you don't use autofilters, start using them. So anything that contains that slash mark, it's going to filter that down, and then we can put just trailing. And we'll fill that down here, and so this will be called our display URL length. And then just to be safe, we can, anything that does not contain will just be regular. Whoop, regulare. My Excel was Italian for a brief moment. And so what we'll do now, see, since we're on autofilter, sometimes it does that, so do not be alarmed. Everything is fine. We're just going to drag it down manually. Unfortunately, that's the way it's got to be for this. Because usually we'll just go ad group by ad group and see which of these campaigns are working and which ones aren't. Which of these display URLs. But now we can just aggregate everything into one report. So I'll go back up, turn our auto filter off, and now we can further investigate whether it's regular or whether it has trailing display URLs. So the next step is going to be your pivot table, which are amazing. And so that's just under Data Pivot Table. And then if you've seen my first ever What Do You Know Wednesday, you'll know all about pivot tables. And so we just go OK. And then I'm using Excel for Mac 2010. So these menus are going to change slightly, but just familiarize yourself, and pivot tables, if you invest the time in them, it'll really pay off in the long run. So what we're looking for is display URL length. It's a field that we already have. So we add that as a row, and so now we just know it's either regular or trailing. And then for values, we can just add clicks and impressions. And then we don't want to add this click-through rate, because that'll just sum up all of the click-through rates for each individual ad, and that's not what we're looking for. So we actually want a calculated field with all these new totals. And so this is going to be, I usually call it true click-through rate, just because you can't have two things named the same, and you just want to make sure everything stays as clear as possible. Clicks divided by impressions. And so if you reformat this with percentage, we can see that regular is actually really doing gangbusters, and it's beating trailing by a wide margin. And so now, as you go forward and write more ads for brand.com, then you can see that you probably shouldn't have that trailing stuff afterward. And just real quick, we got that much information, and we can present this to a client, you can present it to your boss. Whoever needs this information can immediately know, oh, that's why we don't have /widgets at the end. So similarly, anything that you want in here, if you want to test whether or not your ad title has DKI in it, you can just put DKI and non-DKI. You can test what your call to actions are, so if you don't want to do free shipping, you can test out maybe new styles works in the headline. And description line 1, excuse me. So all you need to do, in any case, just throw in that new column, type in whether or not, so this one's DKI, do that for all the way down there, and then just pull a pivot table and you can get real quick sense of what works and what doesn't. So I hope after this Wednesday you know just a bit more. Thanks for joining us today. Keep reading PPC Hero.